With the Financial Modeling Showdown, your goal is to create some competition amongst students to help engage them in learning about different financial concepts. The way we're going to do that is by having our students divide into 2 teams. First step is to have them all go to this form. So they're going to open up this form on their phone or the computer, and the first question is going to determine which team they're on. It's going to ask them, does pineapple belong on pizza? And if they say yes, they'll click here. No, pineapple has nothing to do with pizza here. They'll click no. I'm going to click yes, and this actually divides students pretty evenly amongst teams. This student is on team pineapple, and then we're going to ask, does pizza topping preference have any influence on entrepreneurial ability? So we'll click next, and then students are going to answer these questions about a solar-powered cell phone charging case, which is a new product they are bringing to market, and their goal is to try and optimize the profits of that new product. So they come down here and they're going to answer questions like, well, what would you charge for this? So I'll say, hey, it's $49. Which of the following channels do I hypothesize would be my best marketing channel? Maybe I'll say Twitter. As the CEO or founder, what would my average salary be for the first 5 years? Well, let's say I make $100,000 a year. And then which team members would I like to hire? Maybe an industrial designer and a marketer. And then will I sell online, in person, or both? I'm going to say exclusively online. I submit that. And all of the students from the class will submit their own individual responses. And then we'll aggregate them. So here's the instructor spreadsheet view. And you'll see all of your student responses will show up in the Team Pineapple if they were on Team Pineapple, versus the Team No Pineapple responses will show up here. But the best sheet is this one, the results sheet. This is what you'll display in class for all of your students to see. And it actually aggregates and averages the responses from all the students on Team Pineapple and the responses of students on Team No Pineapple. And so now you get to introduce concepts like the customer annual value by talking about how Team Pineapple here has a higher customer annual value because the customer annual value is a combination of the product price, how much they're charging each customer, and how many times a year that customer will purchase from them. So this color coding sort of leverages the gamification and the competition element, so students know sort of who's ahead for that particular metric. And then you get to use that same mechanic to talk about channels and conversion rates and how that affects total number of customers and how revenue is a relationship between customer value and total customers. And then expenses, so salaries, real estate expenses, marketing expenses, operation expenses. You get to cover all of the main core topics of a financial model in a way that leverages this game mechanic. And the summary here, you get to compare the annual revenue from each team, their expenses, and then ultimately their profits. And in this summary, you get to show students, like, hey, here are the annual profits, and the winner is, well, no one. Both of these models are doomed to fail. And that's okay because it's really hard to get right the first time, which is why we experiment. So you introduce all of these concepts to students, and then you give your students their own financial model to fill out. So they've seen how you apply the product price and the annual purchases to calculate the customer annual value, so they can fill in their own. So they can say, hey, you know what, I'm going to have a subscription service that's $35 a month. I think we're going to get people for 8 months a year, and then they can calculate and fill in their own responses for their own financial model. All right, so that's a review of the Financial Modeling Showdown. Hope you take a look and enjoy it.